Not just kind of scam, but I also was heartbroken. I saw my interviewer go to the car and left. Took me 6 months to get back up.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to Senimerge podcast. Alhamdulillah, kita ni sudah sampai ke next episode. Thank you so much for all the audience yang kami lihat dari analytics kami, yang dari Malaysia, dari Indonesia, dari Singapore, and of course yang daripada Brunei Darussalam. Thank you so much for your support. Kalau boleh tambahkan lagi, share lagi kami punya podcast ni supaya lebih banyak lagi orang mendapat manfaat ni. So, untuk episod kali ni kami bawakan individu yang banyak kami terima feedback lah nya kamu punya kompetitor tu yang company tu tapi sebenarnya kan melihat kami ni kompetitor kah, indah kah? Jom kita ni layan dulu. Tapi sebelum tu aku kan kenalkan dulu. Individu ni bukan saja namanya ni orang unik lah. Jarang ada. Orangnya pun handsome kan. So awal-awal sudah di mentionnya di sini. Ya sudah berpunya, sudah berkahwin selama 3 tahun. So kita ni welcome Tuan Imamull Qhaeer. Welcome to the show, to the podcast.
Thank you for inviting.
Alright. So Tuan Imamull Qhaeer ni ia sudah masa tahun 2021 ia menjadi top 50 most inspiring LinkedIn icons. Okay. And then Aicreativv which is ia punya company lah menjadi face of creative agency masa Hari Belia 2023. And then dia pernah kena invite untuk jadi lecturer di IBTE Digital Marketing 2023 sama 2024. And then pada 2024 durang send MOU sama College IJS. College ku dulu.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I was there. I was alumni IJS. And then kliennya bukan saja lokal, ia ada klien international daripada Malaysia, Singapore dan even New Zealand. Oh, so kita ni mau dengar ni apa ia punya cerita ni, macam mana boleh ia sudah memacah ke luar negeri ya. Kita ni kan start daripada bila you have the first taste of business. So maybe masa damit kah apa?
To be honest with you, my family is not really into business lah. Selalunya it's always the corporate punya way lah. Even my uncles, like close relatives they don't really do business. I think I had a taste masa discovery year. During UBD too, I was in Vietnam for 1 year. I was in Vietnam for 1 year. I had
Kawasan mana tu, Vietnam?
sama Danang.
Oh, memang
Danang.
di sana masa ni.
Danang. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Danang's really pretty. There's a beach there. Sekali dari ujung ke ujung buildingnya makin tinggi.
Benar.
It's really beautiful. So I was there for 1 year. Amal was also there. My wife was also there. We kan that place satu, they wanted to be the first area yang English speaking. That's why they brought people from Brunei. Global Center, I think, UBD Global Center at the time. I met a couple of they use Facebook there. I met a couple of expats di sana who were also teaching English. And we had this bonfire gathering here and there. So I spoke to them lah. I mean, I grew up, it's very strict, luar pun payah lah. But so there, it was my first taste of talking to people who have different paths in life. I spoke to this one guy. I don't know how to pronounce his name actually. We're still friends on Facebook. He had the camera thing too. Because I grew up, knowing it's just corporate. Having a camera too, I always thought it was just a hobby. Right. Sekali, when I was talking, like, why are you here? I said I was a student, and then he said I freelance here. In my head, freelancing dari dulu is not sustainable. I mean, based on what I know lah. My limited knowledge. Masa tu lah. Sekali, he told me that he's been taking, photo shoots for brands and all these things. I didn't even know what a brand was at the time. I said, but how do you sustain yourself lah? Because I was already calculating. Kali we were facing the beach. So this was like my most memorable moment. We were facing the beach, we were just talking. Told me about his story. And then I asked him, right, how do you sustain yourself? And then he pointed to the back because I was like, what is it? Sekali, aku tulis lah. There was this big billboard on the building.
Yeah.
And then he said, that's my work. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Yeah, what? And then he pointed another. Tunjuk.
Uy, shit, flexing itu.
That's my work. That's my work.
Wow.
So I got closer to him.
Yeah.
We added each other on Facebook, and then we kept on talking and
Yeah.
talking. And he brought a lot of his friends again.
Yeah.
I think you call it like a digital nomad
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
And from there, I had most of the conversations. So coming back. Honestly, that was the reason why I lost interest in my major, which was geology, oil and gas. I mean, I'm from KB. Obviously, everyone expects us to go to oil and gas. Kan?
Yeah.
So, I had conversations with people here. Ikut-ikut lah, sini sana. And that's probably how I was interested in business. Then,
So kreatif itu kira kan is your first business lah. Ya, atau?
no.
Ada
Well,
lagi?
I joined a startup.
Ah.
I won't say the name,
Okay.
but you can search it up.
Okay.
But it was a whole Netflix level scam.
Oh,
I joined and I because
di Brunei kata?
the Brunei.
Oh.
Because I mean I don't generally tell this, but since this is my first time doing a podcast,
Okay,
I'll tell anyway. So I joined this startup who was a friend of mine lah, in uni. I stay at the core. We started it together. He was a PhD student. And it was about 9 of us. We recruited people up. There was no pay, no nothing, because it was an app.
Yep.
Right. So we got a lot of fast forward. We got a lot of SMEs, probably around 30-ish, all the way from Brunei to Bandar.
Yep.
Sekali, the app won a lot of awards.
Yep.
Actually, I was really happy, but I found out slowly after the launch, we invited a lot of big people. The next day, this guy, who was my really close friend, said that he's going to the UK and that he's going to be using all the money that we got to fund his to further his studies. It was about 30K, and that was really big lah, as a student yet to graduate, being promised here and there. So I was like, how are we gonna take the money?
Yep.
But he had the token, he had everything apa semua lah. And so we were dumbfounded lah. How are we going to continue this if he leaves? The moment he left, we tried to check all the contracts.
Yep.
Because he wasn't local, it was under me.
Oh.
I don't know anything at that time, right?
Wah.
So I checked all the contracts. His trace was invisible.
Oh.
So it looked like I was the one who was scamming.
Wah.
This caused a lot of problem, really. But you know how we had that sum of money, it's always being sent to the Philippines. Balik. And he said that it was for the developer.
Yep.
Right? But every time we tried to Skype with this developer, it's always a black screen.
Oh.
Only to find out that the developer was him. All the time it was an extra account.
Astaga.
Yeah, it was an extra account. So many things happened lah. So that took a while for us to kind of like jumpa balik lah. We had to meet the SMEs. Thankfully, semua was understanding. We were still young. They got scammed like around a couple of $100 lah.
Yep.
Ada yang sampai 999, I think, based on the packages. But they understood, It could have been a police case. But he was untraceable. I really didn't know. I was...
Tapi baik anda kena salahkan masa tu?
Apa?
Baik anda kena salahkan masa tu?
Hindi. So we were explaining the whole thing. Because they met him as well. It's just that on the contract itu nada pa. Yeah, so nada yang marah lah. I was scared. 30. Imagine having to go through each and every one of them. Takut kena fine ka pa.
Benar.
I was just graduating at
Berapa
that time.
umur masa tu?
I graduated 21.
Wow.
Yeah, 21. But, dari sana to was when I fell off lah brabis because I was already, my parents are into, a corporate, and we fought a lot. Like, I asked for permission to ask this, to talk about this. Yeah, we fought a lot because they wanted stability.
Yep,
Pa.
yep.
And none of my family does business
Yep,
before,
yep.
so automatically business is equals to instability. Kan?
Ah,
And then that happened.
yeah.
So it was a very, very rough patch lah. They were very helpful because I didn't want to eat. Not just kind of scam, but I also was heartbroken because this
Faham.
person was very close to me,
Yep.
like a brother, like an older brother kind of thing. And I'm the eldest, so like an older brother. There I went to I listened to my parents and try to apply for an oil and gas company. So I did, but it was already COVID at the time. I did. I went through
pernah
three
je,
stages. I went through the 3 stages of the interview. That activity
yep.
and everything. So I went out all the way to the interview, and it was good actually. 1 hour plus, it became a conversation
Yep.
like this. It became a conversation like this about life. But there was a fire alarm. So because it's an oil and gas company, it's very strict with all these
Yep.
HSE kan. So the fire alarm, we had to evacuate. And when we were lining up at the assembly point, I saw my interviewer go to the car and left. So I was really heartbroken again. It was like, my heart finally opened to to try to find a job lah. I tried following him up on LinkedIn. Balik, ghosted, and that broke my heart again, because at the time we were already talking about getting married and everything.
Yep.
We were already planning. It was like, it's gonna be offshore here and there, so this is gonna be the plan. It was really heartbreaking lah.
Yep.
Took me 6 months to get back up. I think within that 6 months or two, ada this one turning point where I was like, I cannot continue to blame the other people to be like what they did to me lah. I think I inflicted that on myself. So I learned a lot of like self-help books, business books. Actually, I picked up design from there too. I never had a design background. I learned so much more within that 6 months or two than I did probably in my degree. Not saying that it's not good, but really I would forget to have dinner. It was the whole
So macam your passion itu kedapatan di sana lah.
passion, desperation, anger, whatever emotions I was feeling at that
So
time.
that's your motivation.
That was my motivation, which turned to discipline, and that's how we started. And Amal was there with me lah, supporting me throughout the whole time. Yeah, that was how it started. And then it was COVID. But luckily, it was a digital search, right? Everyone had to go to online, so that's how we got like small projects up. That's my first taste of business. So in the beginning, it was very difficult, of course. I don't even know how to talk to clients. I don't even know how to set a system, onboarding, offboarding. But that happened. We learned along the way, and Amal was there throughout the whole time. She was also helping, and that's how it started.
Kira kan macam dalam business itu, learning process itu memang everyday lah.
Yes.
Everyday
Even until now.
Kan?
Even until now.
Sama. So kalau kita ni boleh berbalik sikit.
Okay.
Reverse sikit. Pasal you mentioned about your family is not from a business environment kan. So memang kebanyakan orang kalau parentsnya bekerja ataupun bukan dalam mindset business, kebanyakan akan macam jangan kau buat business macam Asia tu kan. Tapi sebenarnya diorang takut anaknya in the stable macam you mentioned tadi. Macam takut in the orang in the sustain apa itu ni. Tapi how do you overcome that? Macam mana akan memujuk your parents masa tu?
Memujuk, honestly, it's impossible to pujuk lah. At first, I really feel like I wasn't supported masa awal-awal tu lah. But right now, looking back, they were just worried. They were just worried, and they just wanted the best for us kan. I see a lot of like freelancers. Like I talk a lot to freelancers, and it's always macam, my parents are not supportive. My parents are not supportive. But I wouldn't blame the parents.
yeah.
Everyone wants their kid to succeed.
Ngam,
Kan?
ngam.
Memujuk is impossible, definitely. But showing results
Yep.
would. Nah. So at one point when we got corporate clients and everything, even then, my parents would still question, "Are you okay? Are you stable?" Blah, blah, blah. It always becomes like a
No,
conversation
no.
like that. But after shifting that mindset where they're just worried,
Yeah.
they show support in a
Yeah,
different way.
Yeah.
It really changes the way you think.
Yep.
Because honestly, our parents are the closest people
Ngam.
we grow up with, and anything we consider negative coming from them would demotivate us. So one of the ways that Amal and I decided to overcome this is by joining a community.
Yep.
We joined Livewire punya
Oh, yes.
the BSOM atau
Yep.
we joined UBD Startup Center, which was recently opened at the time. Pasal Tita Sultan ada about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So we were the first one to join UBD Startup Center. And from there, when you're surrounded by other people who want to do business, it doesn't necessarily mean that they've been in business.
Yep.
It really shifts your mindset lah.
Um,
Awal-awal is always takut.
Yep.
Because all these words that are coming, even when you talk to your friends, apa, why don't you just find a job? Why don't you just... Ani temporary kan?
Ya kan?
Catu, it really affects your
Kan?
mind. Yeah.
Tapi kira kan your upbringing atau macam ni orang kira kan dari dulu kalau buat entrepreneurship ni ia mesti ada sense of rebellious tu sedikit.
Oh yes.
Mesti kan?
Yes.
So dari bila tu you sense that
Rebellious.
kira kan word yang ada pulang tah macam nampak negatif tapi in reality
Daring. I would say daring. Yeah, daring.
Masa bila you kedapatan?
Itu na, during the app atau. During that app atau. Although it caused a lot of problems.
Yep.
But my character was built from there. Yeah. Probably also watching anime. We talked about Dragon Ball today. Because they would face all these problems head on, and then they try to solve it.
Yep.
Not just alone, but with friends. I really bring that. I mean, if people ask me who my idol is, I wouldn't say like Elon Musk or Tim Cook or Apple. I would say most of these characters from anime. I'm not ashamed to say that. Naruto, Goku, apa lagi? There's a lot. I always see because their passion is there. Their passion, their discipline is there, with the help of others and combined passion. I think I bring that all the way to my team masa ni juga.
Especially kalau Naruto tu macam lone failure berhabis.
Kan? And I see that in business. Pasal we always fail all the time kan? Yeah. But back then failure would mean macam you can't sleep at night, you hate yourself, you're there. But I love failure right now because then I would have another problem to solve with my team. Sure.
And then there's another opportunity.
Yes,
kan?
more opportunities.
Yep. Okay. Kita ni dua di dalam creative business, creative industry. We know that the challenges di Brunei, people kind of devalue creative people. Even macam I started 2014. 2012 started.
2012? Gila tu. It was O-level.
12 years ago. 12 years ago ka? 2024
12 years ago.
12 years ago.
Masa O-level.
So I started during my college days apa tu. Tapi it's always the topic of siapa yang jual paling murah, yang designer ni, tapi sudah selalu patternnya macam mana? Orang cari paling murah. Tapi when the result comes, bida juga nya. So berbalik semua, baik peluang kau buat tahnya. Tapi nada lagi duitku, catalah. So dari when I first started pun dari dulu macam tu kan. Tapi from your perspective, kenapa kan tu macam orang Brunei ada that kind of mindset macam cari murah yang itulah, especially on the artwork digital asset, betul?
I think it goes back to dulu-dulu lah.
Yep.
If we listen to our stories from our uncles and parents, there was this defining moment lah, I would say. After PSR, it's either you go to science stream or art stream, right? Dulu, if you're in science stream, is it Maktab Science? I mean, I don't know. I'm from KB, so
Kalau di sini ya Maktab Science.
If you go to Maktab Science, then you're smart. You're all this.
Yeah.
If you go to art stream, then you'll be looked at macam na masuk Maktab Science.
Oh yeah,
Kan cuma tu,
I have a
dulu,
story for this.
Dulu,
Aku ada
right?
story ni pasal ni. Sekarang
Yeah?
sama lah.
Yeah, so that, right?
Yeah.
My mom did say macam dulu ya malu lah macam ada, but he helped the humanities book,
Yeah,
art
yeah,
in
yeah.
art stream punya tapok macam tu, pakai tapok dulu tudung masuk kan, so tudung macam tu tapok macam tu kan. And I think our generation, not our generation, the previous generation, our
Yep.
parents punya generation grew up like that, specifically in Brunei,
Yep.
probably.
Yep.
Grew up like that. And then coincidentally, the creative industry went up. But creative industry, in their eyes, it's art. It's not design that solves problems.
Ngam.
That's why it's always pasal, it's easy, it's cheap, you can just do
Katik-katik ini.
katik-katik. Yeah. Oh my God. Can I get angry in podcast?
Boleh.
Yeah, katik-katik saja easy. They don't see the value,
skill.
the skill, the value too. But at the same time, I do believe that can change.
Yep.
So there are a couple of books that I would recommend. Number one is Business of Expertise. I don't remember the author.
Yeah.
Second is Win Without Pitching Manifesto.
Yeah.
The same way how consultancy works, a designer should also have that sort of mindset.
Yes.
Pasal, when we design, it's not just to make things look pretty. I think we all agree di sini. It solves a problem. Yeah. Imagine Hard Rock Cafe. They what do you call this? They target all these bikers, yang orang ragat-ragat lah.
Yeah.
But imagine if they were pink and it's italics, kan? Would the same people come? No. They wouldn't. So this is one of the things why design is important, and that's how I see value. But we need to communicate that.
Yeah.
And that could be solved if everyone were to think like an expert rather than I'm just a freelancer designer, ambil all these order taking punya itulah approach.
Nice.
That's how I see it. Yeah.
Nice. So topik ni memang syok ni pasal creative agency, pasal creativity di Brunei. Memang syok. Tapi kita ni kan ambil short break sekejap.
Okay.
Kita ni sambung ke part 2 for
Alright.
this podcast.
Part 2.
Alright. See you guys in part 2.